Okay. There are first important thing which we need to understand is chart of depreciation. Second, asset class, depreciation configuration. So totally it is segregated into three parts. First is your chart of depreciation, second is your asset class, then is your depreciation configuration. Okay, so these are the important things. First, okay, today we are going to concentrate how to run the depreciation, how to execute a depreciation run, and how to what you call transfer of a asset, sell a asset, okay, sell with customer, without customer. Okay, so today we'll concentrate on the configuration and these four transitions. Okay, now first thing is your chart of depreciation. Okay, what is a chart of depreciation? Okay, why we require a chart of depreciation? Chart of depreciation contains your depreciation area. What does it contain? Chart of depreciation contains your depreciation area. Chart of depreciation are used to manage various legal requirements for the depreciation and evaluation of assets. These chart of depreciations are country specific and are defined independently of the other organizational units. The chart of depreciation describes about list of depreciation area assigned to business and legal requirements. The chart of depreciation helps you to manage all rules for the valuation of an asset in a particular company. Chart of depreciation is defined at your client level. So to activate your asset accounting, it is mandatory that we must assign our company code to chart of depreciation. Okay, it is mandatory that we must assign the chart of depreciation company code to your chart of depreciation. Okay. Now SAP has given lot many country specific chart of depreciation based upon the country your company code is located. We can copy from the standard and we can use that as our reference. Okay, we can use it for our reference. We cannot create our own chart of depreciation. Remember, we can never create own chart of depreciation. Always we have to copy from the standard one. Always you have to copy from the standard ones. Okay, sometimes we copy from we have chart of depreciation. Really, earlier it was not there for India, but now we have a chart of depreciation for India. But unfortunately, in this particular server, someone has did some experiment and they corrupted that. So I'm going to copy from the German one. Okay, but in fact it's the same. Everything has the same thing. It is not going to issue anything in our chart of depreciation. So remember, chart of depreciation contains your depreciation area, and we cannot create our own we cannot create chart of depreciation. We always copy from the standard one. When we copy from the standard one, it will copy all the depreciation areas. Okay, so it is not required that we must have all the depreciation areas. Okay, based upon our requirement, we can keep the depreciation area, others we can delete it. Book depreciation is the depreciation area which is mandatory to have it. Book depreciation is the depreciation area which is going to be update our GL account. Without book depreciation area, we cannot post the entries to your GL account. So in any chart of depreciation, it is mandatory that the book depreciation must be kept. other depreciation area depends upon your requirement for your posting purpose, or sorry, not for posting purpose, reporting purpose. We can keep it or we can delete it. But the book depreciation has to be maintained at any cost. Okay. Now, the depreciation area in charter depreciation have no automatically defined features. Okay. Already predefined features will be there in the depreciation area. But if you want to manage it, yes, we can manage it. Can we create our own depreciation area? Yes, we can create our own depreciation areas also. Okay, we use depreciation area to calculate values in parallel for each fixed asset for different purpose. For example, you may require different types of values for the balance sheet and for cost or tax purpose. You can manage depreciation terms and values necessary for the valuation in the depreciation area for the each assets. Okay, so chart of depreciation contains depreciation area. Depreciation area calculates the values parallel to your fixed assets of different purpose. Okay, so when we coming to the configuration of the chart of depreciation, okay, first copy chart of depreciation. Okay, after copying it, we will modify the description. Okay, then delete depreciation areas which is not required. Then assign company code to chart of depreciation. Okay, so under chart of depreciation, these are the configuration which we need to do it. Any questions here in the chart of depreciation concept?
No question.
That's nothing, no questions.
Okay. Next, come to your asset class. What is an asset class? Asset
Excuse
class.
me.
Yes.
So your voice is not that clear and it's not audible to me.
How about for Vanessa?
Fine, but I think there's some background noise. Something's coming.
From my side or okay, one second.
There's something ringing. I don't know from which side. But
How about now? Are you getting now?
no, not now.
Okay, it's from Kishore's side. Okay, Kishore, can you hear me now? Kishore, you are on mute.
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. How about now? Is it clear now?
Yeah, clear cut.
Okay, it's good.
Now, next is your asset class. Asset class structures your fixed assets. Okay, it classifies the assets to different groups. Most of the time, based upon the nature of the asset, we distribute the asset class. For different assets, we create the asset class. Without the asset class, we cannot create the asset. It is mandatory that we must have the asset class. So what we require this asset class? For structuring of the fixed asset. How many asset class we can define? We can define unlimited number of asset class. And is it important? Yes, it is very, very important that we segregate our assets to different asset class. When we create the assets based upon your asset class only, we create. Asset class apply in all company codes. That means asset class is defined at your client level. The asset class catalog therefore relevant to company codes in a client. Okay. What are the features of the asset class? The asset class provides default values for all asset masters in the class. Remember, default values which can be overwritten. For example, let's say I have a vehicle asset class. Now, vehicle asset class, what are the information I'll give in the vehicle asset class? And when I create an individual vehicle, by default, all those values will be updated, but I can overwrite it. The first feature is it provides the default values. Okay. Now that means the asset class works as a sample master record, and it makes it possible to create new asset record simple and without any errors. Second thing, the screen layout, the fields, the different fields of your asset class, of your asset master data will be maintained via your asset class. Then your asset numbers, that is also maintained via your asset class. And the last and the most important is account determination. To link to the GL account, the asset class plays a very important role. Now, to define an asset class, we must define three things. First, account determination. Without account determination, we cannot. Without account determination, we cannot link to the GL account. Screen layout, that is like field status, how we manage our field status of your GL and customer vendor. Similarly, to manage the fields of your asset. Then the asset numbering, number range. So whatever the number range I maintain here, and for example, I maintain 01, I give 99, let's say 2002, 2999. And I maintain this 01 in the asset class. Then whenever I create an asset, the asset number will start from 2000. So to define an asset, it is mandatory that we must have account determination, screen layout, asset number range. Okay, without these configurations, we cannot create the asset class. It is mandatory that we must have these defined first, then we define the asset class. Okay, any question in the asset class?
No question.
Sir, in the same class, can we define multiple assets? I mean,
Yes.
like main asset, not as a
Yes, we
sub-asset.
can. Yes, we can. Under the asset class, we can have n number of main assets and sub-assets.
So in the same asset class, I can have multiple assets as a main asset, not as a sub-asset.
Yes, we can have.
Okay.
Okay, it does not restricts for you to anything to stop. It allows you to post. Okay.
Okay. So on the asset class also controls screen layouts. Screen layouts.
Screen layout.
number
Three
ranges.
things. Yes, three things. So to define an asset class, okay, first we need to define account determination, screen layout, asset number range. After defining these three only, these three things will be updated in your asset master data.
Asset master data. Okay. Okay. Sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, after this, next is in the activating, deactivating your depreciation area. Now, for example, we manage the depreciation area two way. First, we delete it from the starting, or we keep all those things. Later, at asset class level, we deactivate it, which is not required for us. Okay, so which is the best way? We always suggest that if you are very much confident, delete, because most of the time book depreciation is allowed. After that, can we again activate it? Yes, we can activate it. So we suggest them keep it, which are required, others you delete it. Later if you want to activate it, activate it. Okay, but still SAP has given an option where we can activate all in your charter depreciation, and your asset class level depreciation area can be activated or deactivated. So it's based upon how they practice. Both the practice are good. It is nothing hard and fast rule. It is not going to impact anything. It depends how that particular person is practicing. How particular that person, like whoever the consultant doing the configurations, or consultant or your project manager, how do you want to do it. Okay, sometimes we inform the same to the business, saying that this is the thing and this can be managed again later. Sometimes they also suggest as how to proceed. But there is no impact for this if you want to maintain it later also. Okay. After that, I'll create GL accounts. First is your, let's say we are taking as a vehicle, my vehicle account, that is my vehicle asset, okay, which is an asset, which is a recon account. Okay, short key, sometimes you use 001, sometimes you use 018, that is asset number. But again, it is optional, it depends upon. Then accumulated depreciation account, which is your liability, and again it is a recon account. Then sale of asset, because I'm going to do a sale of asset. If I sell an asset, okay, I may have a profit on sales, so I'll require a profit on sales GL account or loss on sales GL account. Okay, loss on sales, and I will show you how to do the scrapping. So loss due to scrap, this is another GL account that's required. And at last, require depreciation GL account. So these are the GL accounts which is required for a one particular asset. Total 7 GL accounts. Then integration with GL account via account determination. As I said, without the account determination, we cannot link to our GL account. So I will do this, all this GL account for automatic posting. Okay, for automatic posting of these GL accounts for our particular account determinations. Okay, deactivation, it's done. Then maintain number range for depreciation posting. That is for document type AF. Next. Specify the intervals for posting rule. So what exactly we are doing here, we are telling the system whether we want to calculate depreciation monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or yearly basis. So that particular rule we have to specify in this configuration. So that in this our example, I'll take it monthly posting. So depreciation will be calculated monthly. Then specify the rounding net book value. So when we calculate the depreciation, whether it is calculated automatically, then second arithmetic calculation, the rounding up or rounding down. That means if it's 0.05, okay, above 0.05, then it will be considered as a 1. It's less than 0.05, then let's consider is a 0. Or we don't want to calculate that configuration also, we will activate it. Next, your screen layout for asset master data. Okay, here we will be activating the different fields which is required for us. Especially in this configuration, we require to activate the capitalization date. Okay, we require to activate the capitalization date, because always it is mandatory that we must update the capitalization date. What is capitalization date? The date from which we have purchased, we have started use the asset. That means from that date, system will calculate the depreciation. It is very common that we purchase an asset and we keep it for a while. We may not start using immediately. We keep it for a while. After like some time, we start using it. So from that day, it will be start calculating the depreciation. So the date from which we use that particular asset, we call it capitalization date. Then another screen layout, it is for your asset depreciation area. Okay, here we have to activate the few rules which I'll show you. Okay, especially always to update the depreciation key, useful life, and ordinary depreciation start date. So these are the minimum things which we have to give it when we want to create a asset: depreciation key, useful life, and ordinary start date. So I'll make it these fields as a mandatory in your depreciation area. So these configurations are required under your asset class. Okay. So again, I'll repeat. First is you are defining the account determination, screen layout, asset number range. After defining these three only, I can define the asset class. Okay. I'll mention that otherwise. Define asset class. Okay, without having account determination, screen layout, asset number range, we cannot define the asset class. Then activation of depreciation areas, which are the depreciation area we are going to use it, creating the GL account, and how I will assign the GL account via account determination. Always it will be done via account determination. Then the maintaining the number range for depreciation posting, then interval posting, I'll say monthly posting, quarterly posting, or yearly posting, rounding up the values, where arithmetic round up or round down, then asset master data screen layouts for your asset master data, where I'll make few fields as required. Similarly, in the depreciation area, we will activate, we will make depreciation key, useful life, ordinary depreciation start date as a mandatory. Any questions here?
No question.
No, sir, just to confirm, the screen layouts here, so we are defining for asset classes and asset master data
Asset master.
and also for demonstration areas.
See, this particular screen layout only, asset
Okay.
class, it will be used here.
Okay. For asset master
Okay.
data.
Master data. So depreciation key, you are going to use the standard one, that is your 2000. Okay. That I will be using the standard one and I will update the depreciation.
Okay. Okay.
Now, coming to the depreciation key. To define a depreciation key, we must have first your depreciation multi-level. Second, maintain period control. Third, maintain depreciation. Okay. Here, apart from that, your base method, declining balance method. Okay. Most of the time we use the standard one also. Okay, but it is not required to define. Sometimes we copy it, sometimes we use the same one. Okay, that is your base method. Decline balance. Okay, so these two configuration, we use the standard one, sometimes we define, it depends upon our requirement. Okay, so in our configuration we can define it or we can copy it also. It has like the same impact. Okay, now what is your depreciation? Okay, what is your depreciation? Why we use a depreciation? Depreciation is for your uses of particular asset. When we use a particular asset, okay, then the asset value comes down. The asset value comes down. So that reducing value has to be deducted from your asset master data. It is mandatory that we must reduce the value of that particular amount which has reduced your asset cost or asset value, that has to be deducted from your. There are different types of depreciation. One is your straight line method, which is very common. Another is diminishing value. Straight line method. Let's see one example. For example, asset value is 1 lakh. Depreciation percentage is 10%. Then every year, what it will do, it will deduct 10%. From 1 lakh, every year it will deduct 10,000. Then again 10,000 till the asset value is 0. But in the diminishing balance method, okay, for example, first year depreciation is your 10,000. That is your 10%. Now for the second year, it will take the net book value. Net book value. That means 1 lakh minus 10,000 on that 10%. In the straight line method, every time it will calculate on the asset purchase value. That is on the 1 lakh 10%, 1 lakh 10%. But in the case of your diminishing balance method, it will calculate on the net book value. So second year, it will calculate 10,000, 1 lakh minus 10,000 on that 10%, 9%. In the third year, 1 lakh minus 10,000 minus 9,000 on that 10%. Any questions here?
No questions. When do we go for these diminishing balance method?
It depends upon the company. So it is not hard and fast rule. Okay, it depends upon the company what process they use it. Okay, most of the companies they go for the straight line, but sometimes government also they suggest that okay you have to go for diminishing balance method.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we cannot determine that.
Mm.
So first is your depreciation multi-level. Okay, so in the depreciation multi-level person configuration, we will give what kind of depreciation you are using and the depreciation percentage. Okay, the percentage value of your depreciation in the configuration. So the percent of depreciation is derived from your depreciation multi-level configuration. Okay. Now, when it comes to your straight line method, so our asset value will be taken from acquisition value, but when it comes to for your what you call declining balance method, it calculates from your net book value. So we have to also determine the same in your depreciation multi-level. Next, maintain period control method. Here we have to maintain the period control for your acquisition, okay, add of an asset, retirement of an asset, transfer of an asset. How the period controls are maintained? There are different options are there, but very commonly used two. One method is 01, that we call it pro rata period start date. Second is 06, that is going to consider at the start of the year. So after that, your base method, okay, the base method contains general control parameters the system needs for calculating depreciation. You enter the base method in the depreciation key. In the base method, you specify the depreciation type, whether it is an ordinary depreciation, special depreciation, or interest depreciation. Okay. Next is your declining balance method, which we are not using. For example, in the case of straight line method, declining balance method we don't require. So it will be 0, 0, 0. Okay, but when I'm defining for the declining balance method, your declining balance method should be updated with another. Now, depreciation methods. Okay, now this is actually the most important parameter in your base method. For example, when you choose the stated percentage, you have to enter a percentage in the depreciation. Okay. Now, depreciation calculation method is considered as one of the most important characters in your base method. The depreciation calculation method makes it possible to carry out the different types of depreciation calculation in the system. Depending on how depreciation method is set up, the system determines which further control parameters need to be specified in your depreciation key and which are not. For example, if I choose stated percentage, then I have to enter a percentage in your. What are the different features of a depreciation calculation method? First, percentage for useful life. Then, total percentage rate in the tax concession period. Then, stated percentage and percentage rate for your remaining life and changeover and depreciation start date. So, these are some important features of your depreciation calculation method. Now, after defining all this, then only I can define depreciation key, because all these informations are updated in your depreciation key. Okay. Any questions here?
Sir, we have four depreciation calculation methods, right? So as you said, depreciation, multi-level, maintenance, credit control, base method, decay method.
Correct.
So
No,
all these
not types. These are the configuration which is required for defining depreciation key.
So all these are valuation methods to evaluate the depreciation. Is it
Correct. So these are the different configuration which is required to update in your depreciation key. How, when I'm defining the asset class, I require account determination, screen layout, asset number range. Similarly, to define a depreciation key, I require multi-level, period control, base method, and declining balance method.
Okay. So okay, sir. So in these methods, we'll define different parameters, right? So for depreciation multi-level method, we'll define different some parameters. So all these parameters will be accumulated into one depreciation key.
Key, correct.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Determine the depreciation key.
Okay, so I'm clear here, but I have to check the configuration, how it goes with the depreciation.
Yeah, I will take it. That also will. Without configuration, I will not leave. No, don't worry.
Okay. Okay, so fine.
Yeah. Now, in this particular configuration, okay, normally we call chart of depreciation is a independent calculation method. And so what are the independent, when we determine the complete asset, okay, accounting from your depreciation key perspective, okay, chart of depreciation, we call it independent calculation method for base method. Okay, then so chart of depreciation independent calculation method is your base method. That means base method is independent, it's not dependent on anything. But in the chart of depreciation, dependent calculation methods are declining balance method, multi-level method, and your period control methods. These are your dependent ones on chart of depreciation. Okay. After defining all this, then we will define our asset master data. when I define the asset master data, first define main asset. Okay. For example, we have taken our vehicle. Okay, in this example. So vehicle complete group is my one main asset. Under the vehicle or under the, for example, I can have truck, one main asset. All jeeps, one main asset. All buses, one main asset. All your bulldozers, one main asset. All earth mover equipments, one main asset. Under that main asset, my individual assets can be created, which we call it as a sub-asset. For example, the main asset number will be 200.0. When I create sub-asset, then it will be 200.1. That is your individual assets. Now, it depends upon your requirement. Sometimes we don't create the sub-assets only. We create only main assets directly. Every individual asset is created as your main asset. That is also possible. Again, it depends upon how you are structuring your asset class. So we'll define a main asset. We'll define sub-assets. Then after defining it, we will purchase the assets. Okay, we maintain the master data, we purchase the asset, view asset explorer, then run depreciation, then sale of asset sale, asset scrap. Okay, asset sale first one. Okay, asset scrap and transfer of asset. These are the things which we're going to look at. Okay. Now, one more important first configuration which we'll do related to tax. That is your OBCL configuration. So what I will do, I'll define two tax code, that is 0% tax code and assign in the OBCL configuration. Because when we consider the asset, it is considered as a including your tax value. So when you run the depreciation every time, we always calculate including your tax value. We consider the complete asset. Okay, so there are a lot many steps. Okay, we'll do one by one. Any questions in the flow? Because if you understand the flow, then most of the things will be clear.
So this is only for the fixed asset, not for the work in progress or anything?
No, this is only for the fixed asset.
Okay.
Okay? No. So let's do the configuration one by one. Okay, so first let me see whether our tax code is there or, sorry, tax procedure assigned to our country or anyone has changed. 0. First, define the tax code for 0% as 0. Here's the output tax. Similarly, P0, purchase or input tax. I'll assign this tax code to your OBCL configuration. Go to your company code, input tax, P0, S0, output tax. Now first is your chart of depreciation. So we don't have a T code for that. I think we will need to. Okay. Normally we copy from the Indian chart of depreciation, but some student did some experiment with that, so it is having some problem. But you can use the German one, ODE one. From chart of depreciation. So German 0D1 will give an identification. I'm giving same as my company code. So you can give any identification, okay? Just to remember easily, I have given the same. So copying on the background all. So it is copied. Specify the description. I'll change the description. As I copied from the German one, the description will be different. So I'll change it to chart of depreciation 2. Then we'll see the depreciation areas. Okay, these all are different depreciation areas. Okay, I'll just keep it 1, 2, and 30. I will delete all others. So select all. Just deselect 1, 2, and 30. Even book depreciation, which we are going to use more, others also not required, but I'll keep it 1, 2, and 30. Others I will delete. Okay. Now go one step back. Now I'll assign the company code to your chart of depreciation. Given the same. Any questions here in your chart of depreciation configuration?
No, sir, nothing.
No question.
Okay, so I copied the standard one, changed the description and deleted the depreciation area which is not required. I kept only 0, 1, rest all I deleted it. Okay, so book depreciations only which I'm going to use more. Book depreciation is the area which is going to update your GL account. So I'm going to use that book depreciation GL account for our posting purpose. So others we will not be using. Okay, but as of now we will work on the book depreciation configurations. That's it. Okay. Now I will do the configuration related to your asset class. Okay. So first, to define an asset class, I have to have an account determination. I have to screen layout, asset number range. So first we will define those, then your asset class. And the organized structure, we have an asset class. First, specify account determination. New entries, I'll give VA01B, that is for vehicle. VA01, vehicle, account determination. Remember, account determines the configuration which is going to integrate with your GL account. Create screen layout. Okay. We can copy it from the standard, or okay, here we do not have any create button. So we have to copy it from the standard. So anything we can take it, because I'm going to modify all later in our screen layout configurations. I'll say VA01. Then the number range. I'll give 3002. So you can give any identification. Okay, number range interval. So when I'm creating any asset under this asset class, that asset number will start from 3 zeros. Now I will define the asset class. Okay, VAS0B. Okay, VA01B, so that we can remember VA01 vehicles. The account determination which I've created, screen layout, and the number range. Then so next is your creating the GL accounts and linking to your asset account determination. So first my vehicle okay, recon account to asset. Short key Sometime you use 001, sometime you use 018 also. Both we can use it. This is just for reporting. G067, everything is fine. Save. Then under liabilities, accumulated depreciation. This is also recon to asset. Financial management G067 as is the recon account. Post automatically is not. Then under income, sale of asset sales. Okay. Here everything is same, but only the change which is required is, so we set as go. G052 we have to use it. That is for accounts for fixed asset retirement. Because the fields will be used differently when you do the asset sale. If I sell an asset, it might have a profit, it might be a loss. So one for profit, one for loss. Profit on asset sales. Similarly, under expenses, loss on asset sale. Then loss due to scrap. I'll show you that also, scrapping of assets. Then at last, your depreciation account. Now I'll assign these GL accounts for your automatic posting via account determination. AO. Yes, Bishop.
Sir, I think we didn't define accumulated depreciation account.
We have defined it.
Find it. The level of liabilities. Okay.
We have defined it.
Okay.
Now 8090. Okay, by default your charter depreciation has come. Select it. Click on account determination. Go to position. Type your account determination. Select it. Double click on balance sheet accounts. Okay. First, acquisition and production cost. This is your asset vehicle account. Now, loss made on the asset retirement, that is your loss due to scrap. Then clearing account for revenue asset sale, that is sale of asset, gain from asset sale, loss on asset sale, then save. Double click on the depreciation, then select your ordinary depreciation account, or sorry, accumulated depreciation account, and regular depreciation account. Now I'll maintain the document types, number range for document type AF. Zero 04, now specify the interval for posting rules, monthly, quarterly, or half yearly. Position, type your company code, select your company code, double click on posting rules. So monthly posting is by default is there. So nothing to do here. Just save. Then rounding net book value OAY0 by 4. Just a warning message, click on enter. Position, type your company code, select your company code, double click on rounding specification. We're working on the book depreciation. So select automatically calculate depreciation, arithmetic rounding up or rounding down, or we'll keep it as a arithmetic rounding. The system will determine automatically. Then the screen layout. Okay, there are two screen layouts required, which we need to manage. Define screen layout for asset master data. The first one. Go to position, select your layout, double click on logical field groups. Okay, now here first we need to change in the posting information. Double click on select posting information, double click on field group rules, capitalization date, make it required. Then your time dependent data. Okay, here I'll make business area as a required because till now I have not defined any of your controlling thing. Okay, I'll make it required for main and sub number. All other I'll make it optional. Okay, business area as of now, I just kept it as a mandatory. So sub number, it depends upon us whether we can keep it for main number or sub asset also. Okay, so it is not any mandatory rule, but we always suggest that whichever the area you are using, whichever the what you call assignment object you are using, okay, that you make it as a required. If I have activated the controlling, then I could have kept the cost center as a mandatory. That's all I could have kept in the optional. Now, then your depreciation area. So the default one I will use it, that is 2000. Double click on field group rules and make sure that depreciation key, useful life, ordinary depreciation, these three are in required, because these three we are going to switch. Okay. Now any other configurations? That's it. Now I'll define the multi-level method. AFAMS, S for multi-level, P for period, A for depreciation key. AMAS, AMAMP, AMA. I'll not use the standard one. I'll create my own. Let's say I'll give an identification VS1. Okay, VS01 straight line. Then validity start date, your ordinary depreciation start date, because you are calculating from the ordinary depreciation. Double click on your levels. Okay, go to new entries, acquisition year. Till how many years you want to use it? I'll give the maximum. Similarly, how many periods you want to post it? From which period is the starting of the period? Now this is important. Base value. If I'm defining the straight line value method, then it should be 0, 1. If I'm using diminishing balance method, it should be 24. So this is straight line method. That's a percentage 10. Next, the period /NAFAMP. S for multi-level, P for period, A for depreciation. I can use the standard one, but I will define my own. So till 005, standard has defined. Now I'll define 006. Acquisition, pro rata basis, add at the starting of the year. Then retirement, again starting of the year. Transfer, the second. This is not mandatory that it has to be the same. I have taken one example, but you can use any other option based upon our requirement.
06 is a month, right, over there?
Sorry?
06 is a month, right? Is a month, I mean period.
At the start of the year.
Start of the year, okay. So, okay, if you want to add any asset, it's start of year.
Retirement and
transfer. And this acquisition 01 is a period.
Is pro rata basis. Pro rata basis.
On pro rata.
Pro rata period start date. Now I'll maintain the depreciation key. New entries. I'll keep same VS1, VS01 straight line method. Okay, I'll maintain the period control according to the fiscal year, depreciation to the date. That means based upon the period wise when I execute, the system will execute it. Double click on assignment of calculation, go to new entries, depreciation type, your ordinary depreciation, phase, from the start of depreciation, base method, I'm going to use the standard one, declining method also I'm going to use the standard one, period control which we have defined 006, multi-level method which we have defined, and the class is straight line depreciation. Now save. Now depreciation key, after defining you have to activate it, otherwise it will not work. Then again save.
Kashi. Hello,
Yeah.
Kashi. If you can show the period control method where the cell transfer and all those things are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says that the acquisition is from the start of the year.
The pro rata basis. Pro
Pro-
rata period from start.
If you can tell what exactly is the pro data, you can tell me.
Pro rata period and start date. So in the start date it will take them the pro rata basis.
Okay.
The whatever the start date we are giving, that
Uh-huh.
will be considered as your pro rata basis.
Okay, the start date of the, okay.
Rest all I have considered as a at the start of the year. That is your add, retirement and transfer.
Is that 01 means to say the capitalization or that acquisition date?
Correct.
Okay.
Acquisition.
Acquisition.
Pro rata basis, start of the
Okay.
year. Okay. 01 is no. Acquisition here it is your acquisition. So under acquisition configuration, I've given 01. 01 in the sense pro rata period of the start date.
Okay.
Okay, so system will be considered as 0, the date which you are going to give it on that particular period. Okay, most of the time when we acquire an asset, use an asset, you capitalize at the start of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, so from that particular period, it is going to calculate. It is not going to calculate from the starting of the year.
Okay. From that month. The rest it is from the year. Okay.
Rest I have given starting of the year, but I can change it.
Give anything.
I have given one example.
Okay.
Okay, based upon requirement, I can change it. We have different options.
Okay.
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 So I've just given one example. Now all the configurations are done. Okay, this one we have not done it. Depreciation area deactivation for your company code. OAYC. Type your asset class, select it, double click on depreciation area. See, all are in the activate. You make it book depreciation activate, the standard layout 2000. Okay, depreciation key. I can give any depreciation key here. It will be overwritten at the time of creation of your asset master data. Even if it is mandatory field, if I'm not defined, I can give the standard one. 0, 0, 0. Later, when I am defining the asset master data, I can overwrite it. Okay. So as I have already defined the depreciation key I've given, but if I'm not defined, you can give 000 the standard one. Later you can overwrite it, modify it in your asset master data. Now I'll create one main asset, AS01. Asset class, company code, similar number of asset 1, let's say vehicles. Capitalized on, I'll give the starting of my period. I've given business area to the future. So maybe system change. Okay, let's see. We should not give this warning message. Okay, now come to the time dependent data. So for the assignment, I've given the business area. What is the business area you have created? Any remember? VS01.
Created one.
Sorry.
Just a moment.
Fine, no worries. We can take anyone. Okay, it is. Anyhow, this is your client level. Okay, this is the client level posting. So I've taken BA01. Next, your definition. See, by default, it is updated. Useful life I've given in the configuration in A01 1 year. So that's why it is given 1. But I'll change it to 01. Depreciation key, that is for 10 years, and my start date. Depreciation start date. Okay, let me see that. It is alternate depreciation only. Given straight line method, why it is asking me to. I think configurations are correct. Everybody are given the straight line and ordinary depreciation. Still it is asking me.
Sir, I think we need to select here, right, over the deactivation here. I think it's again is to book depreciation. Okay, okay, fine.
That is active.
Yeah, that's activated. So otherwise we can define alternate depreciation method once we can define here something.
Okay, just give me 10-15 minutes, guys. Okay, I'll just check. Configuration, everything is correct. I need to check the depreciation area. Okay, just give me 15 minutes time.
Okay.
Okay, I'll join back in 15 minutes. I'll check again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll rectify.